Hollyscoop.com exclusive.
Frida approached us about being involved with the launch of the children's line and asked for me and the babies to be in it. And then she told me that it had to do with UNICEF and a huge initiative that they were doing for children's education in Africa. And I just, anything for me when it comes to charity, anything that has to do with children, women, health, and education, those are kind of my things. So it was kind of a no-brainer for me at that point. I grew up in the Bronx, both my parents worked their butts off, and me and Mark work our butts off too, but we have a little bit more than they had, a lot more than we had when we were growing up. And so my kids have a different perspective, and I realize that they're going to have a different perspective on life. And I think one of the most important things to teach them is that they need to make their own way. They have to work very hard, and they have to care about the world around them. And I hope by doing things like this that they'll remember from a very young age that was something that was always very important to Mark and I. It was actually kind of a hard decision whether to put them in or not. We're not really the type to kind of parade the kids in front of the paparazzi. Obviously, we know they catch us and stuff like that, but it's not really something that we want for them, So this was kind of a big deal, but I thought about it and I knew Frida wanted me to do it. And it was kind of like, do we do it with the kids? Do we get other kids? Because it was to launch her children's collection. Or do we put the kids in and not show their faces? It was like, what do we do? And when Mark and I spoke about it, and that, again, once we realized that it was for such a good cause and she wanted to kind of launch it in conjunction with what she was doing with UNICEF, again, it kind of became a no-brainer. And I didn't want, from years from now, the kids to kind of look at mommy in a picture with two other kids and wonder, why weren't we in that, and kind of feel bad about that. And I thought about that too. I wanted it to be my kids. My kids are why my whole perspective on the world has changed. And what inspired me to finally start my foundation and to start the telemedicine program and be so involved with that. So, they're a big part of that. It was exciting to see and to put them in it, and they're wearing their little Gucci outfits today. It's adorable. They definitely have their own styles already. Mark, it's kind of similar. Max is rather not have any clothes on, and Emme wants to have everything on. Scarves, jewelry, my shoes, dresses, and everything. So they're having a lot of fun with fashion. She is, at least. Gucci's been such a huge part of my life. I probably my favorite piece ever, which people won't really think because they think of glamour and luxe and everything, but I had a Gucci black bomber that was my set coat for many, many years. Every morning, and I said it was just like a big bomber, all black, down to here, as big as this, and I just love being worn, and those early morning calls and those late night shoots, it kept me very warm and very cozy.
I'm supporting Jennifer, and we should all support each other, but when you really look at the human side of what companies like Gucci can do in connection with UNICEF, it really makes it something to get up for on a Saturday morning. Gucci doesn't have to give their money away. They don't have to give their profits away. And the fact that they do, and they're doing something so beautiful like building schools and providing health care for children who wouldn't otherwise get it, just touches your heart. What do you think, Bea? Is it hard getting you dressed, or do you think you're starting to trust mommy when I say those boots are going to look cute?
Starting to trust mommy.
Okay. I always said if I had a little girl, her first words would be Gucci. So I never had a little girl, but it looks like somebody heard my thoughts, and I think it's a great idea. I think kids are sophisticated these days, and parents want to dress up their kids, so it makes sense.